All right. Thank you very much. But should you all be standing? No, I'm just kidding. So I am Ray Theriault. I'm the plant director of the Corvette plant on the other end of Corvette Drive. Thank you for coming today to the Bash, number one, because what a great turnout for the Bash, right? Absolutely spectacular. And while I'm up here, let's do one more round of applause, because a lot of the museum staff I see around and some of the museum board members, but what a great job they're doing, right? Putting this on. I don't know how they always arrange such fantastic weather for this, but they certainly have come through and delivered the weather and an amazing event today. And I'm here to talk to you about a plant update. So let's get right into that. So first of all, this is a very important year for Bowling Green Assembly, because if you didn't realize it, it was 45 years ago that we started making Corvettes in Bowling Green, right? First model year was in Flint, Michigan, and then it went to St. Louis. Yay! There you go, that's all right. And because of that strong foundation from the two other sites and from all the Corvettes that were produced before, the production was moved here to Bowling Green, Kentucky, and we started producing Corvettes for the world. So from that model year on, this is the only place in the world that makes Corvettes. Woo! That's right. And Corvette really is a global car, right? We make cars for all over the world. In fact, some of you on tour maybe have even seen some of our right-hand drive cars going down the same line, right? So we can build domestic left-hand drive, coupe, convertible, right-hand, everything. It really is amazing. And this year is a good moment for us to just take a step back and appreciate where we've come from. Those 45 years of building cars in Bowling Green, the rich history of Corvette, all the people that have contributed to it along the way, that whole team, their work has resulted in where we are today. So I want to keep that in mind and honor all of the people in this picture, all of the unseen people throughout that history for what has become arguably the pinnacle of Corvette. So here's a quick timeline of Corvette, right? We all know and we all love 1953, that Motorama, right? Anybody that's been to the very first exhibit in the museum appreciates that history, right? Where Corvette was introduced. And then over time, right? It was in Flint, it was in St. Louis, and in 1981 was that very important moment where it moved to Bowling Green, Kentucky. And just a little bit about the plant, in case you didn't know, the plant was actually constructed in the 1960s. It was purchased in the late 70s from Chrysler Corporation, who used to make AC units in the plant, converted to vehicle assembly, and then started production in June of 1981. And then since then, it has been the center of the Corvette universe, the home of the Corvette. And I'm also going to take this moment to appreciate all of you that are here today. You know, there's people who are fans of pick your product, right? There's people who are fans of cell phones, whether it be, you know, maybe a Google phone or an iPhone. You know, there's people that are fans of different things in the world, and sometimes they divide into camps. Very few of them are so passionate about it that they return back to the factory to celebrate. And it means so much to us, speaking on behalf of myself and the whole Bowling Green Assembly team, that you come here because you have such enthusiasm for what we do every day and what we produce and send to the world. Because there's a lot of people in the world that make cars, right? There are a lot of people in the world that make cars. There's only one group of people in the world that make Corvettes and send this much happiness and enthusiasm into the world. And when you come to events like this or you come on tour, you remind us of that and you motivate us to make it even better, right? So thank you very much. Give yourselves a round of applause. So that was 1981. 1992, we hit the 1 millionth Corvette. That's actually on display in the museum right now. We're approaching the 2 millionth Corvette. In fact, I know there's people I've seen around that are trying to predict when that 2 millionth car will come off the line. It's not too far into the future, right? We will hit that 2 millionth number. And then we also have some other milestones that we want to talk about. In 2014, it's another important moment for Bowling Green, because that's when the Peformance Build Center, our engine build shop, relocated to Bowling Green, Kentucky from Wixom, Michigan, where it started. All right, so that's an important moment. We're going to talk more about the Peformance Build Center here in a second. There's been a couple other important moments. You know, we're now making the most powerful Corvette ever. But all of those things were the milestone foundation for what has actually been, you know, we're in April, but it's been a very busy 2026 if you haven't noticed. Early in 2026, we announced a thing coming back called Build Your Own Engine, right? PBC. That's an absolutely spectacular experience where you can choose as an option to come to the plant, to go to PBC, build your own LT6 engine for a Z06 or your own LT7 for a ZR1 or ZR1X. We announced that at the beginning of the year. Shortly after we started it, there's people in this room who have experienced that already. We're gonna talk more about that today. The other thing we're gonna talk about is we happen to announce 2 new models, right? Has anybody heard of that? Yeah. There's the Grand Sport and the Grand Sport X, right? That we have revealed this year, that you can see here during Bash, which is absolutely exciting. We're gonna talk a little bit about that as part of this presentation today. And then we're gonna talk about, our history, our plant family in 45 years of building cars in Bowling Green. And those of you that have been to my presentations, whether at Bash or at Anniversary or some of the other events, you know that I'm big on a couple things. One is, you all are here with your discretionary time. I want it to be fun. I don't want you to be sitting there with a business update. So we are gonna play a game, right? And in the past few years, our game has been mental, right? We've been doing trivia and you've really had to study up and be smart. Today's game is gonna be different. Today's game is gonna be more of fine motor skills, all right? It's gonna be more physical. And you also know that I love giving out swag, so there will be prizes involved for all who participate. But that's all I'm gonna say about that for right now. I'm gonna keep you on the edge of your seat as we go through the rest of the presentation. So first thing, build your own experience. We have announced that, and on the slide here, there's several of the media quotes related to that particular auto option. I would argue that it is one of the best options that you can get on an auto anywhere in the world. Our competitors do not offer the choice of going in and building their performance engines, right? They don't. And I have a belief that I know why. And the why is their team's not as good as our team. All right? Woo-hoo, that's right. Go ahead and clap. That's fine. Because think of this, right? I am so proud of our expert builders in the Performance Build Center that not only can they take from a machine block and build it all the way up into a complete engine that has 1,064 horsepower with a factory warranty. By the way, you don't need a special calibration, you don't need special fuel. It's your production car fed with 93 octane. Get that performance. They're that good, right? Our quality system is that good. They're that good. We trust them that much. But they're also so good that they can take, I'm gonna say a random museum board member, anybody from this room, right? And they can train them how to build their own engine. And guess what? We don't cancel your warranty. We will still honor your warranty when you come in and build it. Not because we trust you as much as we trust them, right? And it's an amazing process to have a team that is so talented that not only can they do it themselves, but they can actually teach somebody else to do it and get it right the first time. It is an amazing thing. And the media certainly has picked up on that, as you can see. So back in history, right? It's 20,000 square feet. We do include it in the tour route now. I'm gonna say sort of, right? Where in the past you just kind of got to peek through the window, where now at least you get to step into the Performance Build Center a little bit to see what's going on. But if you really wanna know what happens there, buy a car, buy the option, build your engine, right? It's absolutely spectacular. And what not everybody knows is that we don't just build Z06 engines and ZR1, ZR1X engines, but we're actually the home of all of the performance engines for General Motors. We build the engine that we ship to Arlington, Texas to get built into an Escalade V, for example. We build the engine that gets shipped to Lansing, Michigan that goes into Cadillac Blackwing cars, right? And we also build some marine applications, and we also do some service stuff and some other things as well, because the team is so talented that many of them don't just know how to build one engine, but they can build many of those flavors and get it right the first time as well. So that shop, that 20,000 square feet in Bowling Green, Kentucky, carries that responsibility of performance build really for all of General Motors. The workforce is amazing. You've heard me touch on that along the way. The master builders and their ability to remember the standardized work for an entire engine build is absolutely incredible. The training process that they go through is rigorous. The standards that they hold themselves to And anybody that's been there has probably heard about things like perfect engines where, hey, how many engines in a row can you build where the electronic tool doesn't even give you a small NOK because you let it kick too much or whatever, right? They keep track of all of that. It's super important to them. They compete, and their stats that they put on the board are absolutely staggering because they are so talented. The quality system is so strong that as a company, we know the engine is being built right because they're building it right every step of the process. There's rigorous testing involved so that we know when that engine gets dropped into the car, it's going to be fantastic for the owner to be able to achieve what you've purchased. And here's a couple fun facts, right? We have about 325 joints. Why do we say about? We didn't take time to count them. We just know that there's about that many, right? But there's also over 5,000 tasks per engine build. So think about that for a second. The person knows all of those tasks, they know the right order, they know the quality standard of every task, and many of our builders know how to do that for more than one engine. So sometimes when people talk about manufacturing waste, they'll talk about things like, oh, there's too much inventory or too much rework, you know, or too many steps to do that task. One thing that people don't talk about enough is untapped human potential. Because people can do a lot, right? And I have a lot of confidence that people can do a lot. And if you ever needed proof of that, it's our master builders in the Performance Build Center. They are capable of a lot. They achieve a lot every single day. Okay, so the engine build experience. It's interesting, as we've started this back up and we've got going, sometimes people are absolutely surprised. It is not the case where you come into an engine that's mostly built and you're just putting your name on it and shipping it off, right? When you come in to build an engine, you're starting from a machined engine block. That's it. And you take all the components it takes to build an engine, all in the right order, and actually build the engine all the way up. It is the case where it is a partnership between the customer and the builder. So if you choose this option and you want to turn every thread of every screw, great, we are there for you, you can do that. If you want to do some things, but you want the builder to do some other sensitive things, that's a fantastic combination. If you want to come in and just watch the builder, right, your level of comfort is what dictates it. And I can tell you, we've had some people that are like that, hey, you know, I just really want to watch it get done. That's sometimes how they start, but by the end, they're doing more and more of the elements themselves. And a couple examples of that is recently we've had a couple parents with their child, right? We had a father with a daughter this last Saturday, 13-year-old young lady. She probably wasn't as comfortable at the beginning as she was at the end, and we can kind of see that because a little hesitant at first, diving right in at the end, right? So imagine that. We're so confident in the builders and the quality system, pick your 13-year-old, bring them, they can build a 1,064 horsepower engine as well, right? And so we allow that, and most of you wouldn't even let them sit in the driver's seat, right? How does that work? The other thing is that we have a combination of ways of doing it. For the Z06 engine, that LT6 engine, we actually have a stand where you're primarily in one spot with the full support of the quality system building the engine. There are some elements of the work that we move to a different location, but generally it's what we call an offline stand. For the LT7 engine, that 1,000 horsepower, 1,064 horsepower engine, we actually run you right down the main line. The line we use every day to produce those engines, and you have full access to that normal production system as that engine gets built. And then the other thing is you get to put your name on it. It's that picture in the upper left or right, I guess, as you're looking at it, above my head here. That nameplate, it often, and you see it on your cars, it'll have the name of the master builder that built your engine, right? If you come build your own engine, you pick what goes on there. The process is that the person who bought it plus a guest come. If you want both signatures on it, that's fine. If you just want one on it, that's fine. It's up to you. What we have found is that, in fact, we'll watch this and I'll get to my point in a second. So have a look at this.
Hi, I'm Jeff Gordon. I'm here at the Performance Build Center in Bowling Green, Kentucky, where they build the Corvettes. Today is a very special day because me and my father get to build our very own ZR1X LT7 engine. is my very own LT7. What an amazing experience. Thank you so much, Chevrolet. Thank you, Corvette.
Isn't that fantastic? So that was obviously a very special day for us, right? We loved having Jeff Gordon and his father, and if you didn't know, his father's really who inspired him to get involved with racing. So the two of them have been around motorsports, their entire adult lives. And for them, they're certainly came across to me as super excited about the technology and building that engine. It's very different than seeing what happens in the pit at Pick Your Race, right? Because it is a production system that they're building their engine with, that they were amazed by. But what's also very special to us is, again, it was that relationship between father-son and the emotional connection that took place as part of the build. And we've seen that consistently with the customers and their guests, that it certainly is about the technical achievement of building that engine and the pride of having that engine in your car with your name on it, but it's also the connection with the guest as well becomes just as meaningful, and I think lifetime memories as well. So here's some feedback from customers that has taken place. And again, this is along the lines of some of the things that I've talked about and that I've shared, where there are people that thought that it was going to be huge sub-assembly pieces and you throw 4 parts on it and the engine's done. That's not it. If you pay for this, if you sign up for this, you're going to be put to work that day, right? Bring some comfortable shoes. We'll provide the gloves and the safety glasses, but come prepared to go to work if that's what you want, or at least go to watch if that's what you would like. And bring a friend, right? Bring that close family member, because it does end up being a lifetime memory for everybody involved when that engine build takes place. And then the other part that brings joy to me is that more people get to see the brilliance of the master builder and our engine team and what happens at PBC, right? More people are exposed to those builders directly, and not just at a moment where, hey, you built my car, let's take a picture, right? And that's fine, we love doing that too, because that also motivates the builders. But the idea that the builder can spend the day with a customer, I'm gonna say show off their talent some, even though they're all very humble about it. But what they do is amazing, and being able to share it with someone for a day is special as well. So we love to have you in to be part of that. And the feedback has been outstanding from the customers that have taken part already. All right, so the other thing that we've already done this year, even though it's April, is we've announced 2 more models, right? The Grand Sport and the Grand Sport X. I would say that the comments I've heard here around Bash so far are glowingly positive. Do we agree? Are we on to something? All right. And in addition to that, the media has been very friendly with what we are launching as well. We are super excited about these cars. We think that in the fine Corvette tradition, they are a value, and we think in the fine Corvette tradition, they have tremendous innovation that allows the performance to be something that you can fall in love with all over again with the Grand Sport. It really is hitting a sweet spot. We really are expecting it to be a volume play for us, right? And just like always, I'm gonna stand up here and say, y'all are gonna probably yell at me at first about why is it taking so long to get my car, right? But be patient as we start production later this summer. We will ramp up and we will be delivering these cars in volume to all of you very, very soon. So we're super excited about that. And, we're able to achieve these things. And let's think about Grand Sport X. When we get to 27 model year, we're producing those cars. Bowling Green Assembly, the assemblers in the factory, will be producing 6 models. 6 models down the line at the same time, right? Stingray, Grand Sport X, Z06, ZR1, ZR1X. Oh, some of you want the coupe. Some of you want the convertible. There's places elsewhere in the world where they want right-hand drive. All of that down the same line because they're expertly trained, fantastic quality system. And oh, by the way, some paint shop folks are gonna be helping me here in a second. Anybody that's been on tour this week, you see the rainbow of color of cars coming down the line, right? It's not a big batch of white and a big batch of black, right? It's any color, any order, because our factory is flexible like that, right? It's flexible for you to deliver to you all the customization and options that you want, including this large family of Corvette models that I can personally tell you, they all drive very differently, right? So pick the one that best suits your need or your want, for sure. So our whole plant, we would call a family of enthusiasts. We have so much pride in what we are able to deliver to you that I think you can almost see it in the car. You can see it in the construction of the car, the care that we take to put it together. I hope that you can see that because we're very proud of it. We're very enthusiastic about the product ourselves. But what I have told you, maybe you're skeptical of. Watch this video and hear it directly from
See the new body style, your heart just races a little bit more, and you get a smile on your face.
When I think of American-made sports car, deep, loud exhaust, sound of freedom.
The new engine sounds really good. It might be the best sounding model that we're making.
It's like, I get it now.
Across the finish line is the Corvette Grand Sport, winner of the prototype GT class.
For 45 years, every single Corvette has been built in Bowling Green assembly. That's 45 years of craftsmanship, skill, problem solving, and pride under one roof. It's an amazing legacy for an amazing vehicle. It's a statement of trust. When the world thinks Corvette, it thinks Bowling Green. Every time we bring a new Corvette to life, we're asking a lot of our workforce, new technology, new processes, tight launch timing. And every time, our team comes through and shows us why Corvette belongs at Bowling Green. This new car isn't just another model year. It's the next version of a time-honored nameplate and the next chapter in a story that people from all over the world follow. Their dreams start with every decision made on the shop floor. At GM, a huge competitive edge for us is our manufacturing might, including plants like Bowling Green and Flint Engine. These plants take cutting-edge engineering and build it at scale with quality day in and day out. I want to say thank you to our teams at Bowling Green and Flint for taking Corvette into the future and for reminding the world exactly what our people and our plants can achieve.
I'm proud to build this vehicle that my kids can actually say, hey, my dad helped do that. Makes it warming.
I get to experience something that hardly anybody gets to experience. You know, the birth of another phase of a car. So I have to do everything that I do the right way, the way the customer at the end of the day is happy. It's my dream to build their dream.
So from the start, the communication from the operators to the launch team of what they liked and didn't like was key for the success.
Being at launch, you definitely get your busy days to where you're running back and forth constantly, going across 3 to 4 different lines. Our team leads do a good job helping out and taking over in case we have to bounce around.
Everything that's new is something valuable for us as a plant.
The biggest thing is like going to front fascia. Their feedback to me on how it goes in, because they are kind of a puzzle to go in. So the two guys on front fascia build-up, they say, well, let's just do it this way. I didn't really come up with it, they did, so I let them make that decision. It makes it easier for the operator, because that's what it boils down to. Is if they can do it easier, then let them do it.
Yeah, I mean, they're all so helpful. It's nice. I try and make it through and tell everybody thank you, because they're without them, it wouldn't go through. They're a bunch of great, bunch of people on day shift and second shift.
It really helps out more than they think whenever they raise questions. Because not only us looking at it, we bring it to the engineers and everybody else who helps out, who can get the part moved or changed.
And they listen to us. Because you would never think that some engineer in Detroit, they would actually listen to you. It's a breath of fresh air that we get to make those decisions. You know, you always know model years change, and it might be like a little bit of an electronic change or a color change, but now when we start talking about facial feature changes of the car. It makes it a lot different. So it's just like, I want to see what's next, you know, and how's the grill going to look, you know, how's the side panels going to look, how's it going to sound when it starts up, you know, because every Corvette has a unique sound. And with the new engine in it, you know, it just makes your hair stand up the back of your neck when it happens.
I heard it, just smiled. A little bit deeper tone. That's probably my favorite part of it.
For me, the excitement was seeing the body of it, because that's what's going to sell this vehicle. Everybody loves the style that this brings.
When they hear that car, they're going to say, okay, I get it. You can see the car is pretty, but when that heartbeat starts and it revs up, it's all over with.
Every day is a cool moment. It really is. So every time you work on a new product or vehicle that's coming out, it's exciting. It really is. And if you're not excited over it, then I don't know what you need to be doing.
Probably the coolest day is when we got the first one built on the line. You know, we worked for months in Michigan, then more months down here, making sure everything was ready. Following that car all the way down, chassis sub, chassis, skillet, chassis 3, and then down to fluid fill. Probably 30 of us standing around the car, because they don't know if it's going to start, but then, you know, it starts up. It gave you chills, it sounds really good, gets you excited. It's like a culmination moment. So it just gave me a lot of excitement about, you know, making it worth being away from the kids and the wife for, you know, a few months. Just excited about things to come and how the public's going to feel about it.
I think they're very excited about this car, and I think we're going to be very busy.
They're going to buy it. I think they're ready. I'm ready for them to buy it. I love the LS6. I love the wide body. I love that you can have the regular engine in it and still look like it's the higher end.
They see that front fascia and they're like, wow, that's a lot different. I like that. You know, I can say, hey, I was part of that. You know, because it's very seldom do you get to love your job enough to where you can go brag about it.
You imagine the guy working on his Corvette in 10 years in his driveway, laying underneath it, taking the under panels off, and seeing the hoses that have the quick connects, and it's something that, you know, we as a team can be proud of.
I love working here. It's American, it's speed, it's everything you want to do on a vehicle, and spearheading this new vehicle out as we're doing now, it warms your heart because you know that you have something that's great.
The Grand Sport is, for C8, is a great continuation of what has been a legacy model for many generations in the Corvette lineup. So to wrap this thing up, yes, the Grand Sport is back in our lineup. It really does land in a sweet spot for Corvette and our different models. It takes a wide body car and pairs it with the 6.7 liter engine, which by the way sounds fantastic. This will start at 27, or model year 27. It's an LS6 engine. It's built in Flint, which is kind of a new engine partner for us. And it will go into the Stingray, the Grand Sport, and the Grand Sport X models.
The new LS6 engine is a great continuation replacement for the existing LT2 engine and going to be a great performance improvement for our lineup. It's incredible. With the LS6, the Grand Sport puts down 535 horsepower and 520 pound-foot of torque. It's the kind of power you will feel when you drive it, and it's paired with an 8-speed dual clutch transmission.
It's so great to be able to bring the Grand Sport and the Grand Sport X into our lineup. An electrified Grand Sport. It's the LS6 engine with an electric motor and compact battery pack. Combining the LS6 engine with this electrification system results in the Grand Sport X delivering 721 horsepower.
So we've got some incredible cars in our hands. Now we're 27, we have 6 models in our lineup, and we add the Grand Sport family in. We got a brand new engine. We're getting 2 new colors this year, obviously the Emerald Blue and the Pitch Metallic. Just a lot of stuff exciting for 27. Thank you all for what you do.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you all for what you do.
And what that video was, is it wasn't paid actors at all, right? It wasn't anybody working to a script. That was our launch team talking from their heart about what their experience was like to put the launch of the Grand Sport and the Grand Sport X together. So, you know, if you're like me, you come for the car, right? And I've shared that on the stage where decades ago, I had a dream of someday being part of the Corvette team and maybe even having the job that I have now. Car is very shiny. The car certainly attracted me, but I stay for the people. I stay for the people in the factory because, you know, forget what I say, judge by your own eyes and what you've heard the actual launch team say. Because what I hear is that tremendous enthusiasm for the car, the tremendous passion for the car, but I also hear more than that. I heard how grateful they were from the folks that are running normal production as they're trying to launch, right? Did you hear how everybody chips in, how everybody helps out, how everybody learns, right? Those aren't my words to them. That's how they feel, because that's how the Corvette team behaves, and that's what we do. We are a team, and that's how we can deliver these cars. So I get goosebumps watching that video again, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen it. There's probably one person in this room that's seen it far more times than me, but absolutely spectacular. So when we talk about 45 years of building Corvettes in Bowling Green, it's certainly a moment about the car, right? Because we are at, you know, and we've stood up here before, and everybody says, oh, what can Corvette do next? Well, now you've seen what we're doing next. We are never done, right? But this is where we are. We're at the top of the hill. The world is watching what we do. Competitors are paying attention to what we do. We're paying attention to the competitors in the rear view mirror. And you are part of that, right? When we come to these events, and by the way, this week here, there's nearly 100 volunteers from GM. There's nearly 30, yeah, that's okay, give them an applause too. There's nearly 30 that have traveled down from Michigan, and the balance are from the factory to help out, to interface with you, because you give us so much energy, we love doing it. But oh, by the way, we're learning from you all as well. When you tell us what you really love, like, pay attention, right? Like, we know. That's how the car keeps getting better and better. But what I want to